but what we can see short term is acceleration. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be going over a 2022 Toyota Tundra Limited with the TRD off-road package. Before we get into the video though, I do want to mention if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, I'm going to include a link to my car buying guide in the description down below. I will be increasing the price on the guide slightly in the next few weeks, so if you want to get it at the lower price, I recommend getting it right away. Let's get into the review. So under the hood we have a twin turbo 3.5 liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 17 around town and then 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 389 horsepower and then 479 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the Limited. So first off, this one's finished in supersonic red, and all you need to know is it is very bright, and you know, it's a really cool looking color. Now notice here with the center of the hood how that's all flat and then it's raised here on either side, and then notice here with the LED headlights and then with the daytime running lights as well, which these actually turn into the turn signals. I'll quickly show that to you guys. So we'll run here and turn that on so you guys can see how it kind of like swoops in a sequential format. That's really cool. And then you've got the accenting here just down below. Parking sensors here on the front end. Notice we have our TRD logo right there with the Toyota logo there in the center, and then camera just down below the Toyota logo, and then it says Tundra right here. We've got a sensor there in the front of this massive grille, and definitely has a large imposing look from a front end perspective. And yeah, now seeing the Tundra in several different packages, I like how it looks. Coming around the side here, we've got two 65mm tires wrapped on 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. We've got the TRD off-road specific wheels, so the wheels are all blacked out with the TRD logo there in the center. I think that looks really cool. And then also, you've got the Bilstein shocks finished in blue here that also come with the TRD off-road package. A little bit more aggressive tires. And then you guys can see here with the fender flares that go into the splash guards. This one has rock rails, and then you also do get skid plates underneath as part of the TRD off-road package. Notice the Tundra logo there, two-tone design with the mirror where you've got the red on top, black on the bottom, chrome here on the door handles, and then you got another Limited logo back there. And then you guys can see the fender flare setup here in the rear, and then another splash guard here in the back. And then here's a better view of those Bilstein shocks. And then last but not least, with the new Tundra, well, we got the exhaust tip. But popping underneath here, we've got the new coil suspension here on the rear end, so it's kind of hard to see on this side because the exhaust is blocking a little bit, but you guys can see the 5-link coil suspension. Then there's the rest of the underbody as well, and then also, look at that, we got a spare tire here. So here's our key fob for the Tundra. We have our lock, unlock, and then the drop down here for the tailgate, which you just have to hold down. We have a payload capacity of 1,400 pounds. Towing capacity is right around 10,000 pounds for this model, roughly. Give or take a little bit, right? And then you guys can see here with the LED lights in the back, and then we have a full outlet as well. And then this one has the nice matte covering, which, I mean, it doesn't really need it because you guys can see the bed is fine to have stuff put on it. But I mean, this is like another layer of protection, which is nice. And then notice the cargo tie downs as well. And other than that, yeah, pretty simple from a bed perspective when you're done. Lifting up the tailgate, super easy because it's actually really light now. Now let's finish things up here with the rear. So we have our TRD 4x4 off-road decal there. We have the new taillights, which I love the design on these. And you guys can see when they're on, it just definitely looks cool. This is something that I found out after reviewing quite a few of these. This is actually the button to press to lower down the tailgate if you just want to be able to do it from the side. I think that's a pretty cool feature. You still have a handle right here that you can use with a button, but like they have multiple buttons, which is pretty cool. Tundra stamped here into the bed. This does have a bumper step as well. You got the receiver hitch down below, parking sensors here on the rear end, and well, there you go. Now here is the rear door panel. So first off, you guys can see here with kind of the stitching design that goes across, padding down below where you're actually going to rest your arm. And we have a couple speakers here for the sound system. And then here are the new seats. You guys can definitely see we've got kind of like a military theme, especially here in the center portion with how they've designed the seat. It's actually easier to see over here on the passenger side. Definitely looks cool from an aesthetic perspective. Then we do have a grab handle. It helps getting in and out. Legroom's great. Then headroom as well. This is slightly smaller than like the Super Crew with Ford or Ram's crew cab, if you guys are wondering from a space perspective. Couple cup holders, storage space down below, and then you've got all the USBs and the full outlet. And then we've got more cup holders, which you need. And then there is under seat storage as well. So, you know, super practical. Let's head to the front. Now let's go over the front door panel here. So you can see the padding here at the top, and then again, that kind of stitching design down below. And then the padding down below that. All of our window controls, and then the mirror adjustments. The mirrors do power fold in, and they have blind spot monitoring. And then another speaker for the sound system. And then the front seats are the same as the rear in terms of the design on them. Bolstering's a little bit, you know, more aggressive, like normal front seats, but definitely looks cool from a design perspective. Then power adjustments on the side, sorry about my shadow. Pedal layout down below, and then we have our heated steering wheel button right here. This is for the outlets and the lights and all that stuff, trip computer. And notice the steering wheel is manually adjustable, but let's pop in. So here is the steering wheel. You can see perforated here on the side, and then you can see the design here at the bottom, and then notice even stitching around the airbag cover, which is pretty cool. We've got our volume controls, voice command controls, controls for the center stack as well. This does have adaptive cruise control, steering assist, lane departure assistance, you know all the stuff. Windshield wiper stock, turn signal / light stock, and yeah, there's the steering wheel on the new Tundra. So here is the center gauge cluster. It's mostly analog with this particular package. You can get a full digital screen with packages like the Capstone edition, for example. But with this one, notice we've got different menus you can scroll through here from an information perspective. But the thing that we really want to see is what we've been getting from a fuel economy perspective. So 16.7 miles per gallon, which, you know, actually not too bad for a full-size truck. And other than that, we do have some drive modes we can go into. So notice we have our normal, eco, and sport. I'll be honest, I've just been driving it in normal mode like the whole time. I'll drive in sport mode for this video, but I have just kept it in normal mode, and yeah, pretty simple. So here is the gigantic infotainment system in the new Tundra. So first off, from a camera perspective, look at this. We got this backup camera view with the bird's eye view, and there are so many different viewpoints here from a camera perspective. So just like other modern pickup trucks, it's really solid, and resolution is also amazing. It's something that Toyota didn't necessarily have in the past, but with the new Tundra, they've completely fixed that. And notice here how we can set it to the off-road camera mode, which I will be taking this off-road if you guys are wondering. So we'll be able to test this whole system out. But yeah, I love the camera system on the Tundra. Now the infotainment system, on the other hand, it's really easy to use. So first off, you got shortcut buttons here on this side, which, you know, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Response time's great, so everything is great. So we've got our climate control section down here with the radio control off to the side and USB off to the other side, but dual zone climate, heated, cooled seats, you know, all the nice luxury stuff you expect in a pickup truck nowadays, right? Trailer backup system, this is for the camera system to turn it on, so you guys can see it does that view, which, yeah, kind of interesting, right? Stability control, hazard lights, locker in the rear, which we will be testing when we take it off-road, just saying. And then you can see we've got a couple blank switches here. Auto hold, we've got our parking brake. Shifter for the 10-speed automatic, notice this says TRD on it, which is really cool. We have our drive line select, so we have 4-wheel auto and 4-wheel high and 4-wheel low. What I meant to say is we have no 4-wheel auto with the new Tundra. Wireless phone charger, and then you guys can see here the storage space, a couple of cup holders, and then we have my favorite center console, because like you get the little peekaboo window, and then you got the rest of the center console, some more USBs. Got some nice padding here on top of it, and then pretty normal glove box, which, yeah, we'll just pretend like that worked. And then you actually have some padding here on the dash, and then I actually like that, how it connects the vents right there. So I almost forgot, trailer brake controls right here in this little area. And then we have my favorite thing, which is the camera mirror. Yes, definitely love that. And then I also love this with the Tundras, how the whole window goes down for the power sliding window. Definitely cool from a practical standpoint, and slider colored headliner up top. So here's our window sticker for the new Tundra. You guys can see the standard equipment here at the top, so feel free to freeze frame if you want to read that. What I want to focus on is the optional equipment for just a second. So notice this is a limited premium package, right? So that gives you some upgrades. And then also the TRD offered package is $3,000. I think that's $3,000 well spent. Even if you're never going to take this off-road, just having the slightly more aggressive tires and, you know, just in case, right? I'm always about that just in case. and it looks better in my opinion. But anyways, total MSRP on this particular one is $60,273. Let's see how it drives. Talk about visibility before we set off. So here's your visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors. I also forgot to mention this does have memory seats. The button's just right here on the door panel. Anyways, the other mirror, and then the rest of the rear. And well, let's set off. So setting off here in the 2022 Tundra Limited with the TRD off-road package. And this is obviously our on-road review. We'll have an off-road review, which will be more exciting for me personally because I'm an off-road enthusiast. But we, of course, have to test out these Bilstein shocks and the coil suspension over the train tracks. Yeah, actually handles it very well. Handles it very well. The thing I noticed about the new Tundra versus the old Tundra, thank you for being right on cue, old Tundra, is the fact that this has coil suspension in the back end. It helps out the ride quality so much. This doesn't have the wheel hop in the back end. It feels so much smoother, feels so much more planted. It is a huge improvement compared to the old Tundra. Now, aside from that, obviously we have this new turbocharged engine, which is torquey, very torquey. Compared to the 10-speed automatic transmission, it is solid. Pop into the sport mode here. I'm not going to do manual shifting in this because I don't think that most of you are going to manually shift it. You're probably just going to, you know, punch it, and the manual shifting will be reserved for like off-roading with steep hills and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, tons of torque with this engine, and you know, you guys saw it. It's getting pretty decent fuel economy. This only has 3,000 miles on it, so it's not like it's broken in, but it's also doesn't have enough miles to really like accurately see like what the fuel can be long term. But what we can see short term is acceleration. It's quick. It is quick. Now the new Tundra does weigh more than the F-150, and it is slightly down in power compared to the F-150 with the EcoBoost, and so you can imagine it's not as quick. But when you compare this to itself, its prior self, this is so much quicker than the previous version of the Tundra. And here's the deal. I think the reason why, and I'm trying not to speak for Toyota too much, so that's why I say I think the reason why Toyota went with the setup they went with is they don't want the engine to be super stressed. So I think that's why they picked the power outputs that they picked, is so that the engine is, you know, it's under stressed. If that makes sense, right? It's not stressed out a bunch. They did the same thing with their 5.7 V8 in the previous generation Tundra, and that's why it was able to, you know, just have so many miles put on it, right? So I think that's what they're doing with this engine too. And then on top of that, right, why is the truck so much heavier, right? Toyota's sticking to, you know, more traditional building materials with the Tundra, right? They're not doing tons of aluminum like what Ford does with their truck. So it is going to be a heavier truck, but, you know, in terms of longevity and everything, right, what's going to last longer? Just saying. But yeah, ride quality, you guys can see, is super smooth. I've been driving this on the highway, all that kind of stuff, and I can tell you from a daily driver perspective, this is very comfortable, and I think it's just as capable as the other trucks, again, as a daily driver. Like, the seats are, you know, they're on the firmer side, but I don't think they're uncomfortable for me. Like, I'm okay with firm seats. Some people like softer seats, so if you like softer seats, this doesn't have those. But I think they're comfortable for long trips. It's got cooled seats, right? It's got all the normal luxury features you expect for a pickup truck, and it's just a great daily driver. And so, you know, from an on-road perspective, I think that they've done a really good job with the Tundra, and like I said, they've improved this truck a massive amount over the previous generation. It accelerates better, right? It gets better fuel economy. The old Tundra got horrible fuel economy, and it's more comfortable than the previous generation Tundra, and it's got more features, right? It feels more modern. Again, when you compare this to some of the other brands, right, some people are like constantly doing that, and I understand, right? That makes sense, right? If you're going to be shopping for a truck, but it might kind of lack in some ways. I know I sound a little bit scattered here, but I'm trying to pull this all together to sum things up for this review. But when you know, just pull in and you compare the Tundra to the Tundra, this is such a huge improvement over the previous generation. V8 or not, and I prefer this engine to the V8 because, like I said, low end torque is so much better, acceleration is so much better, fuel economy is better. Yeah, I know some people are worried about long-term reliability, but here's what I have to say in terms of long-term reliability is, yeah, they might have to work out some first-year kinks with this powertrain, but once Toyota figures it out, this will guaranteed be the most reliable twin-turbo V6 on the market, right? So and everyone's going towards turbocharged engines. You're not going to see naturally aspirated V8s in the next few years. So like, this will be the most reliable twin turbo engine, okay? And so yeah, overall great truck. I love the new styling on the Tundra. The interior is a huge improvement. Again, when you compare this to itself, it is just a night and day difference. And so if you are currently driving an older Tundra, this is worth upgrading to, in my opinion. From having this for a week and living with this, it is 100% worth it. But we'll see how this does off-road now in the future. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this 2022 Toyota Tundra Limited with the TRD off-road package. And like I said, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. I'll see you guys.